Hi, welcome to this part of my review featuring Legends of Avallen, the Core Rulebook. If you haven't seen the other parts of my review, featuring this Celtic mythology-inspired role-playing game, please check out the playlist in the description below. This time we are going to talk about the fate cards and conditions. Let's start with the fate cards. Throughout the game, you will find situations where the longer you remain, the more you tempt fate with complications, such as sneaking through an imperial camp or exploring the wilds of the other world. When this is the case, the Game Master will introduce fate cards, which represent risk and the passage of time in tense scenes. When the Game Master includes fate cards in a scene, they will draw one card from the deck face down and place it in front of them at the beginning of each round of turns. When the Game Master draws the fourth fate card, they tempt fate to see if a complication arises. Resolve it if one does. Discard those cards and then draw another fate card to begin the count to 4 cards again. The Game Master tempts fate to see if a complication arises by revealing the 4 fate cards one by one. If at least one joker or 2 other court cards are revealed, a complication arises. This will happen about half the time. The color or suit of the last revealed court card determines for the Game Master which complication arises. If it is a joker, the Game Master can choose any complication. Complications that arise from fate cards are determined by the Game Master. Typically, the Game Master will have a list for the scene or even the whole quest. Complications can range from minor inconveniences to a change of circumstance to a sudden danger. If the complication is a sudden danger, you will have the opportunity to make a split-second reaction to a prompt given by the Game Master to hopefully advantage yourself against the danger. Whenever a player severely aggravates the situation, the Game Master may draw and reveal 4 fresh fate cards to see if a complication arises, independent of any fate cards they already have building up. Whenever a character does something to ease the tension or risk in a situation, the Game Master may discard accumulated fate cards from play. If a character manages to get rid of the cause of a complication, then the Game Master should ignore that complication if it arises when they tempt fate. Let's talk about conditions. Everyone would try their hand at adventuring if it was not so clearly difficult and dangerous. It takes a certain something to want to take those risks. The rules so far have dealt with the difficult part of adventuring. Here, we will deal with the dangerous. This section details the debilitating conditions you can be afflicted with and how to recover from them. You gain conditions in all sorts of ways: poisonous binds, an axe to the chest, a poor night's rest, or a curse from a cruel fairy, just to name a few. The conditions are listed in order of increasing severity and are grouped into 3 categories that determine how easy they are to recover: treatable, recoverable, and mortal. Naturally, recovering from conditions requires rest and supply. If you would gain a condition of a variant of a condition that you already have, you gain the next most severe condition instead. Treatable conditions are conditions which wear you down but are fairly easy to remedy with a short rest. Being exerted means you are weary, have reached the limit, and need a short rest to return to full form. While exerted, you cannot exert yourself again to change the result of a check. Being overwhelmed means you cannot think straight. You are overcome by a thought or feeling and need a short rest to collect yourself. While overwhelmed, you cannot help your allies or use these setup or protect actions. Overwhelmed also has variants. You can be charmed, terrified, and enraged. While charmed, you can and must help set up or protect the object of your charm. While terrified, you must flee from the sight of the object of your terror. While enraged, you must pursue and attack the object of your rage. Treatable conditions are treated, that is, unmarked from your character sheet, during a short rest, a period of downtime about 10 to 20 minutes long in which you relax. To take a short rest, you must consume one supply, give up any edges you have, and end any spells you are concentrating on. After a short rest, you recover all your treatable conditions and treat any untreated wound you have. But be careful, when fate cards are in play, your game master might decide you are making matters worse by taking a short rest at an inopportune time. Concerning recoverable conditions, they are conditions which significantly hinder you and require a recovery check during a long rest to remedy, or the help of healing abilities or magic. Being exhausted means that you are beyond tired, slow to move, and need a long rest to regain your energy. While exhausted, you cannot benefit from short rests, and your moves are reduced by one during conflicts and journeys. Being sick means you are not at your best. Your body is reacting poorly to something, and you need a long rest to feel like yourself again. While sick, you cannot earn edges from checks. Recoverable conditions are recovered during a long rest, a period of downtime at least 8 hours long, in which you sleep. If you do not take a long rest each day, you become exhausted. To take a long rest, you must consume one supply, give up any edge you have, and end any spells you are concentrating on, so it's similar to a short rest in that regard. After a long rest, you recover all your treatable conditions, and if you have a recoverable or mortal condition, you must then make a recovery check. To enact this, you check vigor or spirit. You cannot exert yourself for this check. If you obtain a critical success, you recover any one condition and gain an edge. A success recovers your least severe condition. On a failure, you become exerted but gain an edge. And on a critical failure, you become exhausted. Resting away from the elements in the comfort of a bed advantages your recovery checks. Whereas if you do not take a long rest between days, you automatically gain the effect of a critical failure for a recovery check, even if you had no conditions that would require a recovery check and without any of the benefits of taking a long rest. You become exhausted, you give up any edge you have, and you end any spells you are concentrating on. If you do not sleep further, your exhaustion will turn into more severe conditions and you will eventually die. And this concludes this part of the review. In the next part we are going to talk about mortal conditions and the character arc. You must always be mindful of the fate cards and the conditions. Just like the heroes in mythology and legend, even though you may reach the greater heights of power, that doesn't mean you can ignore the world around you and ignore the consequences of your actions. Therefore, you are still subject to great challenges and risks. Thank you for watching this part of the review, and thank you for your likes and your comments. If you have any questions or comments, please let me know. And thank you so much to those of you that are going the extra mile to support the channel. If anyone else wishes to further support the channel, the information on how to do that will be in the description below. Once again, thank you, and see you later.